to feel you. Don't want you on my mind. Don't want to feel you. Don't want you on my mind.
That's Georgia Smith, On My Mind. I love that record. Like, y'all get a whole vibe out of me just playing that. You tuned into The Lounge on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. It's Women Crush Wednesday. So shout out to all the folks that have been calling in, chiming in. You know, just adding to the different discussions that we've been having. If you missed the questions, we had 2 questions of the day. The first is, what did you think about Beyonce's documentary titled Homecoming? And then the second is, what's a characteristic or trait that you associate with women or femininity, and why? Right? So call in, chime in, all of that good stuff. 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. That's the hotline. Toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. And I have to shout out my folks who have, you know, our social media fam. They always chime in on the social media question of the day, which is the same here. But some of the responses we got over on IG about Beyonce, she didn't go to college, so I don't get it. That was a question that was asked. And to that I would say, this was supposed to be like paying homage to HBCUs, to the legacy, and for those who may not be familiar with Coachella and why her performing there was historic, there has never been a black woman that headlined that festival. And so she expressed this in the documentary, she was very intentional about bringing black culture into that space. And she felt like one of the best ways to do that was through the HBCU culture. So, you know, you had the steppers, you had the drum line, all of that stuff. It was really a great show. Dear old Nikki said she loved it. Carmito, shout out to that. She said, I feel lucky that we get to exist at the same time as Beyonce. And then shout out to DJ A-List, friend to the show. She said, edges snatched, period. Yeah, I think that's a good one. All right, so my first guest of the evening is in studio, and we are ready to dive into our convo. Jumoke Dada, she's on to discuss the Hugh Tech Summit, which is a conference created to educate, elevate, and empower women of color who are technologists and techpreneurs. But not only that, y'all know I like to learn about people's stories and how they got to where they're at and what put them on the path that they're on. So, you know, we're going to delve a little bit into all of that as well. So, hey, girl.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
On this Women Crush Wednesday. So I told folks a little bit about the Hugh Tech Summit, right. But tell them about you and what you do, because you wear a few different hats. So let them know who you are, what you do.
Okay, awesome. So essentially, I am a technology consultant, and I create tools and resources for women interested in careers in technology. Mm-hmm. But what I do is I work on projects like for companies, organizations, etc. So I'm contracted to do that, and I also build tools. So I built something called the Tech Women Network, which is an online searchable platform for women with technical skills. And also over the years, I've produced tech events for women, and I'll share more as we talk, but the Hugh Tech Summit actually came from the Tech Women Network and just seeing how many women of color were joining and just realizing that in my area, in this region, I didn't see a number of them coming out for tech events or just period. So I wanted to draw them out. So that's why I produced that summit.
Yeah. And so now are you from Philly? Like, because you spoke to the women in this area, and I know you've been in tech at least over 12 years at this point. Yeah. So. Yeah,
no. So I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Okay. I grew up there, and I ended up here because I went to college. So I came here to go to Temple University.
You
That's right.
TU, me too.
Oh, you
yeah, TU.
Yes, I'm an owl.
Okay, so that's what brought you here, and you stayed.
And I stayed. Yep,
Same.
Started working right after college, and so on and so forth. So.
Got you. So I was curious, and I do this like just in general, don't judge me, but I'm always curious about the meaning behind a person's name. Like I've looked up my name, first, middle, and last. My kids, when I was choosing their names, I made my choices largely off of what their names meant. And so when I came across your name, I was like, wow, that's beautiful. I wonder what it means. And so you correct me if I'm wrong, but when I looked it up, it said loved by all. Is that right?
That's it. There's a long version, but essentially everyone loves God's child. So which is similar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you feel like you've seen that reflected in your life? I don't even know how that would be, but like.
Interesting. I've never been asked that, but yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think for the most part, I'm pretty much a loved and liked person. So yeah, I think it's befitting.
Gotcha. Yeah. Like when I looked up my name, it means in Hindu and in it just escaped me, but it has slightly different meanings. But one is good tradition, and then the other is companion. And it's funny, like when I look back at how I live my life, I'm like, I want to be a companion to others as they're on their journey. And I use the word journey a lot. And so once I realized what my name meant, I was like, oh, that makes sense now. Maybe that's why. But okay, so tech. How did your passion for tech develop? How'd you get in this field?
Honestly, so it's so funny because I've shared this story recently. So I actually didn't even have an interest in tech. I was always the person prior to college, like I was very much into the arts. I was into entertainment, music, things like that. Okay. Yeah, I really wanted to work in the music industry and entertainment, although my parents thought I should go into law. But yeah, so that was kind of what I was thinking going into school. And I did an internship actually in New York at an entertainment magazine. And when I came back, I just kind of had this epiphany, like, I don't think this is the way where I'm supposed to go. So fast forward, I started trying to figure out what am I going to major in. I started looking at my coursework, and I saw that I was stronger in my STEM field, science and math. And now I can see that this was the path that I was supposed to be on, because I come from a STEM family. Like my mom was a nurse, my dad was a microbiologist, so we're just those people. But I'm a bit of an artsy butterfly too. So that's what happened. I chose the major, and I knew I didn't want medicine or engineering, and so I just chose computer information science, and then that kind of just started me on my path, like with work. So
break down, what is computer information science mean, like in terms of when you're studying for it? Like, is that coding? Is that
it is. Yeah,
I'm a writer, so I'm like, that's a foreign language to me.
Yeah, I guess it's essentially you're telling a computer how to think, how to perform a function, right? So it's the science of doing that. So yes, to answer your question, it is coding. It's networking, everything.
Gotcha. Okay. And so at this point, roughly like 12 years in tech, as a woman of color, and a black woman, have there been challenges that you've experienced just being who you are in this space, in this field?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've been fortunate in that the corporate companies that I worked at, I had pretty much good experiences for the most part. But there are definitely those times where that you're either the suggestion you're making isn't really being heard, or you have to really assert yourself, for a project or in a meeting, etc. But yeah, I just think, across the board, we have our issues, and struggles with just being black women. Yeah. So yes, to answer your question, I've definitely just had, just having to prove or assert myself when it comes time to saying that I want to take something on, or I want to work on a specific project, or I think this is the direction we should go. Definitely, just having to really, really push to show that I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And that's always that moment where you're like, no, boo, I know.
I know.
I really do know.
Right. Exactly.
So what would you tell, that younger you who was, just figuring out in that moment, like, okay, STEM is my strength, and I'm gonna take this path. What advice would you go back and tell yourself about this journey now?
You know what? I think I would have I would tell myself to embrace my genius more. So like I think like I've always been a smart person. I've always like really excelled and learned things really quickly and mastered them. But I also was the type to downplay like what I know and what I knew. And I wish I didn't do that as much. So I would definitely tell myself to, you know, be a little cocky, you know, like show what you know, you know, don't hide, yeah.
What do you think contributed to that practice of kind of hiding your light or your genius?
I think just as a woman, and then just the dynamics of my home, my family, we're very modest people. That and then faith as well. Like, so we're just very modest people. We don't really like brag about what we can do and things like that. So I think there's just a little bit of that that was just ingrained in me. And then just kind of just my nature too. Like I'm a very like laid back, mellow person, and I don't always, you know, say, oh, you know, I'm, you know, I can do this, or that was me. You know, I'm not always quick to do that. So
you mentioned Tech Women Network and kind of why it came about, how it came about. On a site it says, and I'm going to quote this: "Now is an exciting time to be a woman in tech." What are your thoughts on that statement, and why now is an exciting time?
Sure. So even like, you know, when I was in college and just those early years in my career, there wasn't like a lot of support. Like everything that's going on now with like women in tech and girls that are coding and, you know, women in STEM, it didn't exist. It wasn't something. It wasn't a thing, you know. It was just you worked and you went home and that was it. But now everything is about tech. Everything is about, you know, diversity in tech, and, you know, we need women with technical skills, etc. So now is the time. Like I'm telling, you know, like friends that I know that have also been in the field for some time, that are kind of like trying to figure out their exit plan. I'm like, no, you need to stay. Like now is the time. Now is the time to like claim it, you know, show yourself, start speaking, etc. Because we're in demand.
And what a good time it is to be in demand. I'll tell you that.
How about it? How about it?
So what's your personal philosophy or take on women's empowerment in tech, in the tech space?
So I guess philosophy, and, you know, so it kind of came about with developing the Hugh Tech Summit. So I have this term, no more hidden figures. So I don't know if you saw the movie Hidden Figures.
Yeah,
so,
I loved it.
Yeah, so it's really, that is like my mantra as well. You know, like, you know, come forth, be seen, tell your stories, come from behind the scenes, you know, because if we're talking about you know, encouraging girls to enter STEM fields, or trying to fix pipeline issues, then they need to see us. They need to see the women that they don't typically see, the women that are building servers, managing databases, building websites. They're not the in front of the scenes people. A lot of times who you see are, you know, the business people, or the, you know, the idea people, the leaders. But the people that are very technical tend to be introverted, and they tend to like do their task, and that's it. So now I'm like, look, now is the time for you to like come forth, and it's fly. Like it's fly to be to be a coder, or, you know, a technical person in some capacity. Like before, you weren't going out and you weren't telling people, oh, I just, you know, I just, you know, took down 10 servers, or I was on call all weekend because XYZ crashed. You weren't talking about those things out in the general public, because no one would understand what you're talking about.
Right?
But
like,
now it's just like, if you can say that you can do these things, it's like, wow.
Yeah. And we also have I mean, technology in general has just impacted every aspect of society.
Yeah.
But I think also in terms of news, we see more news related to tech. And so now that we are seeing no more hidden figures, it's like, okay, wait, now I want to know more about what you do.
That's
because
right.
I just heard about this with Facebook or this with whatever company.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're just tuning in, I'm chatting with Jumoke Dada. She is the founder of Tech Women Network and the Hugh Tech Summit, a conference created to educate, elevate, and empower women of color who are technologists and techpreneurs. If you by any means want to send her some love, some light, or you have some questions, call in, join the conversation. Our hotline is 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. Our hotline, toll-free number is 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back on the other side, we can go ahead and delve into the Hugh Tech Summit because this is coming up. So they need to have this on the calendars, and we got to tell them how they can support and all of that good stuff. So, loves, stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Source.
The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Special guest host Renee Off Baton every Monday in April.
The Source. Exclusively on WURD Radio and WURDRadio.com.
Come to the 2019 Faith and Spiritual Affairs Health Justice Conference on Friday, April 26th from 8 to 4 p.m. The city is building a movement for community health, healing, and justice in Philadelphia. Dress comfortably for yoga, line dancing, and other joyful movement. Learn more about this free event at foodfitphilly.org/healthjusticephl. Co-hosted by the Philadelphia Department of Public Health and the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
Using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to WURD Radio.
Independent Black Media.
1 in every 4 of us can't make ends meet. We can keep pre-K for our children and still get rid of that ridiculous soda tax. Drug injection sites are not safe, and someone gets killed almost every day in Philadelphia. From poverty to potholes, we can do better. I am Anthony Hardy Williams, and I have been listening to you.
We can move Philadelphia forward together. Vote Anthony Hardy Williams for mayor. Paid for by Williams for mayor.
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an extreme flash flood.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Talk to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now.
Tune in on YouTube at onWURD
Or on Facebook at ForWord.
WURD TV.
Black Talk Media.
Hey everybody, we're Kindred, the Family Soul, and you're listening to The Lounge on 900 AM
and 96.1 FM
WURD.
That's Brave Bird by Mel LaRue. You're tuned into the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. It's a Women Crush Wednesday tonight, and I am super excited to welcome my first guest of the evening. We were just chatting. I'm chatting with, I should say, let me start there, Jamaica Dada. She is the founder of Tech Women Network and as well the Hugh Tech Summit. That's a conference created to educate, elevate, and empower women of color who are technologists and techpreneurs. And so, yeah, let's hop into this discussion about Hugh.
Let's do it.
How did this come about? What is it about? I mean, I gave, the quick high level overview of it, but like take us into the weeds of how all of this came about.
Yeah, sure. So like I mentioned, I created this platform called the Tech Women Network for women with technical skills, and between that and seeing the women that were joining, women of color that I didn't know that were like directors of technology at companies and software engineers, etc. I was just like, wow, look at these sisters. That, and then I tend to go to a lot of tech conferences. I go to conferences in New York. I go to the West Coast. And just one day I was just like, wow, I'm always traveling, to be amongst other women that are like-minded, and I said, why isn't there more here? This Delaware Valley, you have Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware. You have all of these universities that have CIS programs. You have Drexel, Temple, UPenn, LaSalle, Villanova, all these schools, and I just remember thinking, like, where are the women that have come through these programs and that work in the area? I go to a lot of the local tech events too, and I tend to see the same, like handful of women of color in tech, and a lot of them are new to tech. So I just remember thinking, like, wow, there has to be more women in the area, and how do I draw them out? How do I find them, meet them? So I had a dinner in the fall of 2017. It was a dinner and fireside chat with a SVP here in the city. And at the dinner, we just didn't get to go into as much as we would have liked. And I said, you know what, we need a full day. We need like a one-day conference. And that was in November of 2017. Then the holidays. And then last year, literally after January, I started planning for the first Hugh Tech Summit, which took place in May. So it was planned in like 4 months. Wow. And it was amazing. So,
which is like, just FYI, y'all, trying to pull off a conference in 4 months.
Listen.
Talk about sponsorship and logistics and all types of stuff. So yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it got done, and it was amazing. And it just really showed that it was necessary. I mean, not only just everything from the minute we put out a call for speakers, we're like, all right, so we need women to speak. I mean, we had, I think, over 100 people apply to speak last year. And then the attendance also, people came from across the nation. Like, people came from Arizona, people came from like Georgia, people came from like Cali to come to this Tech Summit. And I just said,
the first
wow,
one.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, yes, this has to continue.
Yeah. And so now this year, second year.
This is the second year. It's in about 2 weeks, Friday, May 3rd. It's going to kick off Philly Tech Week. And we're really excited. We did, same thing. We had an open call for speakers, and we had about 100 submissions. But the goal is not to just converge each year and just tell stories, right? So if now is the time for women to be in tech, we want to make sure that each year the summit progresses in some capacity. So if you came last year and you were just trying to figure out how to break into tech, or just wanted to meet other women in tech, or were looking for a job, coming this year, you need to have gotten a job. And if you haven't, then what is it that you need to learn to help you? Do you need more training? Do you need a network? Do you need some coaching of some sort? Like each summit, like, we want to make sure that we're really equipping women to thrive in their career, not just come be inspired, hear stories, and then go back home. Like, we want women to like move up. Some people are feel stuck. They've been in their field or in their role at their company for years. You know, a lot of women cap out if they go that route of being a programmer, maybe an analyst, then become a project manager. That's pretty much where they tend to stay. You tend to cap at being a project manager. Some make it into managerial roles, but most don't. So then what? You know, what if I'm not going to become a manager? Am I just going to do this for 30, 40 years and then what? So people feel like they don't have a path. And so that's some of the things that we're doing through the conference too. Like, okay, now guess what? You can start speaking. You know, you can start mentoring. There's a number of people that last year was their first time speaking at the Hugh Tech Summit, and now they're like inspired and they want to do it more. You know, so I think it's definitely like just exposing them to more that they can offer, as well as exposing them to other women and technologies that they should learn about.
Yeah, what I'm loving, I think, beyond just what this is and what it represents is the standard of expectation of excellence. That, okay, yeah, you come in this first year, but by next year, where you at? How have you leveled up? How are you ready to exercise your talents or to use your talents to, if not in your life, change that dynamic, then within this space and within this event, contribute to it. And I think that's amazing to have that set of, like, that standard.
Yep. Last year was identification. This year's education.
Education. Got you. So do you all have your speakers ready to go? Who are some of those speakers? If you want to shout them out?
Yeah, we have some amazing speakers. I'm really excited about our opening keynote. Lisa Jalopter. She's coming from LA, but this sister has receipts. I mean, she's like led technology projects, Hulu, Shockwave, BET. She worked in education for the Obama administration. She's just phenomenal, and now she's a techpreneur. So she's a woman in STEM. She has a computer science degree. She's also running and operating a tech startup, essentially, and she's doing so well. And I just felt like she really embodied what this year's theme is, which is fortitude. You know, just how have you used that to level up, you know, to move up and to you know, have these positions and lead this company. Really excited about Arlen Hamilton from Backstage Capital. Just her story, her personal and professional story, just again embodies fortitude.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about a number of women that are coming out to speak. Some first-time speakers, but their work experience has just been it was just amazing. Like, you have something that you can share and teach other women. So yes, we'll have you, like, come out if you're willing to share. Yes, we'll support you and we'll give you a platform.
That's awesome. So let folks know where they can learn more about the Hugh Tech Summit, how they can support, where they can follow, all of that good stuff.
Sure. So everything is on the website Hue. So it's Hue meaning shades of color. So it's HUE. HughTechSummit.com. You have all of the information about the speakers, sponsors, as well as just how to register. And what's also good is that it's not just the workshops. Like, we're treating the women like they're getting headshots. You know, there's going to be hand massages by a beauty brand, makeup touch-up, you know, and then most importantly, these sponsors, they're coming to hire, they're coming to recruit and interview on site. And it's not every day that you get to be in front of a Google, you get to be in front of Etsy, you get to be in front of Verizon Media, JP Morgan, SAP. It's not every day that you can position yourself to speak to them about a job. So I'm really, really excited about the recruitment.
As you should be, and I'm hoping, and you know, our listeners should be as well. So listen, y'all, if you know a woman who is of color and is interested in tech or in tech, and you know, just is looking to be a part of a community, right? Because sometimes that can, I imagine, get very lonely. Being the only or the token or whatever it may be. Let them know about this Hugh Tech conference that we have going on. It's 2 weeks from now. What's the date and where is it going to be at?
Sure, it's Friday, May 3rd. It's near UPenn's campus at 3675 Market Street at Quorum. And I do want to also add that college students can come as well. We actually have a ticket giveaway. If you follow us on Instagram, we have some kiosks around Center City. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt.
Nice.
They just have to go to the 4 locations, take a selfie, tag us, and they can win. The first 3 people to enter can win.
That is so cool. So where do they follow at on Instagram?
Yeah, so follow Hue Tech Summit, Hue HUE Tech Summit. We have all of the information on there and on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
You can find out about the ticket giveaway, but definitely HueTechSummit.com if you want to register and just see what's going on.
All right, so we're going to have to get you back at some point because I know we got to get ready to wrap up at this point. But definitely want to have you back and appreciate you coming in and just the work that you're doing in the space that you're creating, you know, for women of color in tech and specifically Black women, doing your thing.
Yeah,
Do that, girl. Women
Yes.
Crush Wednesday. All right, y'all. You're tuned in to The Lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM. I'm your host, sincerely, Sarita. It is 8:58 p.m. And when we come back after this break, I'm going to be chatting with the LA winner of our Level Up 3-City contest. I can't wait to chat with her, and I hope you are ready for that. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Source.
The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Special guest host Renational Patan every Monday in April.
The Source. Exclusively on